Hey everyone, it is, what day is it today? Monday, November 9th. This is the Fit Life Dynasty team call. We have an amazing speaker with us today who is going to talk to us about all things Instagram, which I need because sometimes Instagram scares me. But I'm first going to do some quick recognition. We're just at the beginning of the month, but I really did want to shout out a few people who are already on our Success Club board because we're at November 9th and they're already there. So Emily, Carey, Sarah, and Christina are at SC2, and Marie is at SC4, and I know she has a cart out and she's waiting for it to be completed, which will already lock her in for Success Club for this month, which is amazing. So I'm super proud of her. I feel like she's frozen, so she's not going to hear this, but I'm really proud of her. She's hustled this flash sale massive. So I'm just really proud of kind of where she's taking her business, and I hope she can hear me, and if not, she'll catch it on the recording. But I just wanted to shout all of you ladies out for already kind of pushing your business at the beginning, because it's really going to kind of set the pace for you for the rest of the month. Okay, so that's all the recognition that I have, unless anybody else has recognition. I can just, Marie, did you hear any of that? Probably not. You'll have to watch the recording, Marie. I just shouted you out, so just catch the recording on that. You were frozen. Okay, so guys, I wanted to introduce Heather to you. I'm hoping that more people will pop on. Heather and I connected actually on Instagram. So it's kind of great that she's speaking to us because it just shows you the power of social media in terms of allowing you to make connections with people that you never ever would have if you kind of stayed in your own little bubble and not kind of put yourself out there. So I'm pretty sure I invited Heather to a challenge group and she's like, been there, done that, not interested. But something kept me going back to her. And it turns out, like just over the course of following each other, that we have a lot in common in terms of things, events that have happened to us in the past few years. So you guys know my story with my brother, but Heather lost her brother as well. And so we connected that way. And when you find people on Instagram that you can connect with, it's almost like this whole nother level that you can't even imagine. Like I grew up in a world where you don't talk to strangers. And so here I am like talking to all these strangers. And I couldn't be more grateful because she has been really supportive. She's been through it. And like every event, like as soon as she sees that I've posted about an event about my brother, like she's right in there commenting. So having this group of people that I've met on Instagram who are now supporting me that I can actually call friends, never met them before. This is actually like the first time kind of seeing her as opposed to just in her stories or in her group on Facebook. Like it's pretty incredible. So that's how we met. Heather is a social content strategist. So she has basically worked over the last little while to grow her Instagram following to 11,000 followers. Like I have 1,600 guys, like imagine 11,000 followers. But what she's done is she's really mastered the ability to create content and posts that are going to attract her ideal clients to engage with her. Because that's the idea behind your social media, is having people who are engaging with you. So she's been able to create those kind of like scroll stopping posts that get people to stop and read, as opposed to just a quick little tap like, because that's not really going to necessarily create that engagement that's going to result in an ongoing conversation with that person. So she's going to teach us today how she basically went from being invisible on social media, which is sometimes what I feel like, to really having those scroll stopping posts that are going to get people watching you and engaging with you. I cannot wait to hear what she has to say, because I know her and I've been following her and I've been following her stories, and she always has such great tips. So I can't wait for her to share them with you.
Oh, Tara, that was great. And it's actually really nice to see you in real life, even though I feel like we really know each other. But I just kind of want to tack on to what Tara was saying, and I'll give you guys like just a little more of an intro, and then we'll dive into the training tonight. But yeah, I forget exactly how Tara and I connected on Instagram. I don't remember like the actual first post, but yeah, it definitely had to do with our brothers, and there's so much power in that. And what I hope that you guys can kind of take away, at least from our connection, is that this social is really about being social, and it's at the end of the day, it's about having that genuine connection with somebody, and you never know what that may turn into. Like, there's no way Tara and I would have met. Like, we don't even live near each other. Like, I mean, we just would never have met. And the amazing thing is that we really do have a lot in common, and here I am. So that makes it even better. So I'm really excited to see you guys tonight, and I will open this up for questions. I hope you have questions. I like interaction, so I do want to hear from you if you have questions. But just a little bit more about sort of my background and what I do. I wear a lot of hats. I don't know if you guys do. Actually, Tara wears a lot of hats, which is another reason why we are kind of on the same wavelength there. She has a 9-to-5. Do you guys have full-time jobs as well? Yeah. Okay. So there's a whole, you guys know, like, there's a giant balancing act that needs to happen as you have all of the things that you're doing in your life, in your responsibilities, and you have this passion to have a business. And by the way, I just want to say this. You should feel extremely proud, and I hope you feel really proud that you have your own business. It's so empowering, and you are, at the end of the day, you're helping other people. Not only, but this is a personal journey. Don't just remember that. It is a personal journey, but you are helping others. So if anything ever in your head ever tells you otherwise, just remember that. Like, you are pretty amazing. And should be yes, you should be so proud of it, because this is challenging. It's challenging, right? So a little bit of background. So I do have a 9-to-5 as well, and I head up a e-commerce website. I'm responsible for over $1 billion in revenue and sales. So I have a lot. I have like a little weight on my shoulders there. But the beauty of that is I do content, and I have lots and lots of knowledge of how it's really usability and how to speak to your audience and things like that. So I can take all of that, and then I like to teach that to entrepreneurs, and I use it in my own business. And so I have my own business as well, and I basically help entrepreneurs such as yourselves with really how to stand out as a leader and authority and find your voice. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times, and this is part of the journey. This is part of your journey. I don't know how long have you, how long you guys are on here? How long have you had your business? How long have you been in, in your business? I kind of want to know. Okay, so 2.5. Okay, so about two and a half years. All right.
Well, for me, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about you guys? Anyone else? Like, anyone a little longer or a little less than that? 2 months. Okay. So, I mean, listen, you guys are, I don't know where exactly you are, but if you're wanting to expand, right, and you want to really stand out, there's a couple of things that are really, really important. So one is 1 week. All right. So actually, this is great. Congratulations on your business. And all right. So I'm going to share a couple things with you. I'm going to go into content. I go in few directions, and you'll probably get more information than you thought you would get tonight, but that's how I work. So first and foremost, this is like, you guys should actually write this down. But on social, you must be really authentic. I mean, people can sniff out if you're not authentic. And what I mean by that is really stepping into your power and owning who you are. And that is a journey in and of itself, right? And the reason why I actually look at entrepreneurship, you guys are entrepreneurs, by the way. If you don't call yourself that, you are. And it is a personal journey, because especially as coaches, like, you're out there and you're helping others, right? And we'll dive into that. But it is a little bit of a personal journey. And so, but you must be really authentic, and you can go ahead and you should learn, like, definitely learn from other people. And, you can look at people who, who you're like, oh, I really like what they do, and that's great. Write those ideas down, write those things down, but you need to make it your own. You need to fully step into yourself and your power. And so when you do that, watch what happens, because you're going to be really passionate about what you're talking about, and your audience is going to be so drawn into that, because the more authentic you are and the more real you are, the more that they will relate to you. Okay, so here's another tip. All right, ready for this one? And maybe you've heard it. Not everyone is your person. Okay, so this is like really, not everyone is your person, like, period. Not everyone is your person, like, and that's okay. And by the way, guys, I know I actually first started out in network marketing, so I fully get it. A lot of my clients are in network marketing, so I know where you guys are coming from and how it is. And so, it's like, okay, so I need to reach out to, 1 million people and blah, 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 right? But the secret within social is really to understand and figure out and get ridiculously clear on two things: the problem that you solve and the transformation you help others with. And it's not to say that you can't talk about a lot of things, but the more specific and the more clarity you get on that problem that you're solving and the transformation you help others with, now you can start you can start talking, and you can start sharing information really confidently, because you already know, right? You know what you're talking about. And what is going to happen over time is you're going to become known for this thing that you help, that problem that you help others with, and the transformation. And so I know obviously you guys are in the health and wellness space. So I want you to actually think about your own story. What did you overcome? What is the transformation you had? So, and I'm actually gonna rewind back to before I was doing business coaching, because this relates to you guys. So I actually struggled for almost my entire life with emotional eating. And so I actually have like a whole program built out. I helped a bunch of people, and then I just decided I was going to do something else. The beauty of entrepreneurship. But that's actually that's kind of an example even in your guys' space. But I struggle with that. And so in your space, like, I'm just saying, if you use that as an example, like, okay, so the problem is emotional eating, right? And the transformation, overcoming that. And in your world, like, you actually could relate that to what you offer, right? Your programs, your workout programs, and the nutrition and all of that can actually help with that, right? If you spin it in the right way. That's an example. And so, so I want you guys to really think about your own stories and your own transformation. Story is literally the most powerful way for you to share your message. It's one of the oldest, it's like in marketing, and it's one of the oldest ways. And this is we watch movies all the time. It's storytelling. And what this does is it evokes that emotion within your right people, right? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what you want, right? That's how you make that connection. It is not necessarily about the actual products and in that sense, right? And what I mean by that is when you're going to help somebody, the underlying problem and what's really going to get them to say yes is when you're paying attention to what they're saying, what they're struggling with, right? Because when you know what they're struggling with, you probably struggled the same thing. That's how you can be like, all right, listen, I know where you're at, and I got you, like, I'm going to help you. This is how we're going to do it. And that's where your content comes in, right? So when you have that foundational piece, the problem you solve, the transformation, now you can start building out your spokes and your pillars of content. So I hope that gives you guys a little bit of like a basis and something to think about when it comes to really standing out. And the more you think about this, and this is the approach I always take. Like, I take this approach in my entire life. including business and social. It's all about testing and learning. Like I don't want you to think about like, okay, so you posted, you put out a post, you did a story and you didn't get a lot of engagement. Okay, I'm the worst, I stink. No. I want you to, there's like a million things that can go into it, but test and learn. Like I can tell you right now, like I will sit and I will write these like, what I think are like these like, oh, this is so profound. It's so great. And I'll post it, right? And I the way I do my content, I'll do like a light background image and I'll text on there. Well, I want people to save it. And it depends. Sometimes it gets a lot of reach, but 9 times out of 10, I got to show my face with some kind of emotion. Typically, that's just what tests, like, I just know that that works really well. But you need to figure out what's good for your audience. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about images, and I'm going to talk about your captions, and then I'm going to touch briefly on stories and reels. Okay, because they all kind of go together. Okay. So at the end of the day, yes, I've grown my audience and it's great to grow your audience, but what's really, really important is to just you want people that are engaging. Honestly, you cannot have a lot of followers, but if they're engaging with you, that is the most important thing. And you should be engaging with them too. It's the way the algorithm works on Instagram is you must also engage with your audience. So go comment on stories, leave a little voice note. Hey, what's going on? Hi. I mean, it's not weird if you're like, sort of engaging with people. And you also want to comment on their posts if they're posting, right? So it goes both ways. That's going to help you get a lot of visibility. So that's one part. So what I want you guys to actually think about, I want you to think about when you're on Instagram scrolling. We all do it, all the time. What gets you to stop? What kind of image gets you to stop? And I want you to start taking notice, become aware of what gets you to stop. And then like write that down, like really, really absorb that image, right? Because this is where the marketing comes in, right? What are you drawn to? And you can use that even as the basis, right? So I gave you, what I know tests well, at least for my audience and for my clients, but I also want you, this is your, this is your business and you want to, you want to leverage Instagram. So what types of images get you to stop? I love like quotes. I actually love quotes. So, I'll throw those out there too, but you guys decide. So there can be images, quotes, there's all kinds of things. And all right, so that's first and foremost. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. Like whatever you're drawn to. And so Tara, I think that's great. Like parents with kids. So like that might be something that you want to test in to your, to like some of the content that you're sharing and figure out, again, like, you decide how much you want to share, but you know what I mean? And for you guys, I don't know what else you're drawn into, but really think about it. And then you can start doing that. Yeah. So there you go. So now, right? So it's thank you. Where you get. So I don't know where you guys are at in terms of your Instagram. By the way, I want to follow all you guys. So make sure you guys all drop your handles in there. I'll send you mine too. Because I love that. And okay, so that's one. That's your feed. Like that's your image. Yeah, so I don't have kids, but I have dogs, and they definitely, like, the dogs definitely get, like, I know, like, they get love. But also, if I have like interesting posts. Okay. Oh, also another one in your space. I don't know if you, I don't know. I know there were some rules that came down, and I don't know what they are for your business. I know, oh, thank you. I don't know. Thank you, Tara. I don't know, if there's certain, you have certain rules that things you can talk about. I don't know if that came down. I know there was some lawsuit that came out for one of the network marketing companies. I forget which one it was. But in your space, like one of the ways to portray sort of like what you're talking about from an image standpoint is a before and after. And what I mean by that doesn't necessarily have to be a transformation per se. Okay, you can't post physically on their income. Okay, so yeah, let me read. So actually, I'm gonna read all this because I really want to know. Income progress, and if we talk about anything, okay, so that's really okay. So then you're fine. Okay, that's good. All right, good. they made good rules for you guys. So for example, actually I can tell you this. I actually I've done multiple side-by-sides back when I was doing emotional eating coaching, and from literally one post, it was a storytelling post, and I booked out my one-on-ones. I mean, I poured maybe an hour into it. I did pour my heart into that post, and it turned into one of my most profitable posts ever. And so this is possible for you guys, but it's a matter of, being consistent and really figuring out what your audience needs and how to tell that story within your content. So you can do side-by-sides. If you have a transformation, you should share it. But your side-by-sides can also be, I can do like a quick one where it's like, okay, one would be, I'm just making this up, but like you have a face where you're like smiling, and then you have a face where you're like confused or whatever, or just like something like that, right? And it's like working out to, it can just be like, so some people have struggles when they work out, and they like kind of like it's actually like negative for them. So it could be like sort of something like that, or like working out, whatever it might be, versus working out to like, to feel good or something like that. That's like another way. Like you can use those side by sides and like think about things. There's one where I did like, it was like I was sort of using like my inner chatter, where like my inner mean girl would be like, you're the worst, you're so fat, blah blah blah. And then like you have like two different faces for that, and you can like so like you're basically educating your audience in a way, but through your visuals, and then you have like your text to go with it. Okay, so that's another idea for you guys. And then so you have so in your post you have your image. Then really, really important, okay? Because after their image, like the image is going to get them to stop, and then they're going to see that first line underneath, right? The caption. So you want your caption, the first line of your caption, I like to use an emoji in there, right? Because it'll catch the eye, and you want it to be a shocking statement. You want it to be like, it's like a headline that you're going to read in the paper in a way. Right? So you really want that to be, because that's going to draw your people in, right? For years, I struggled with this, whatever it is, for my entire life. Like it should be dramatic. Like it needs to be like, it really needs to be dramatic. And then that's going to hook them in, and then they're going to start reading what you have to write, what you have to say. And keep in mind your caption, when you're writing your caption, you want to draw your audience in. So you want to speak to them. So there's certain things you can be storytelling and kind of like talk about a struggle you had, and then you bring them in. I know what it's like to struggle with this thing, and I want you to know that it is okay. And if you want it, you can make it educational. Here's 3 things you could do. Or if you want to go down that route and write an educational type, like you want educational content in there for whatever reason, it's like you can just write, hey, like here's a mantra, like I'm fearless, drop me, like say this with me in the comments below. So quick highlight of your scroll stuff, just to get more engagement. You really want that shocking headline. You have some meat in there with your content. You want to make sure you're breaking that up, so you have something really good to say. And I actually use like 1 line per thought, because now this is where like human mind comes into play. So think about this. Think about it. You write a post and you have like a paragraph of content. What I want you to do is literally break it out like line by like line space, or like it could be like 2 lines, no more than that, space. Have emojis in there, because we as humans do not really read. Think about it. We actually just, we kind of scan. And then if it's like super interesting, we'll read the whole thing. And then you can hide, like you can use caps. You guys don't have to get crazy. I mean, there's like tools out there where you can use different fonts and stuff. I mean, it just depends on how much time you want to spend on this stuff. But so it's not only what you say, but it's how you present it, because you're writing this and you want your people to read it. So when you have those like line breaks and stuff, they'll actually read it. And then you want to make sure that you close that off with a question. That's how you get your audience to engage. You got to ask them something, or you got to ask them to do something, whatever it might be. And when you guys are in what I'm going to call like selling mode, in the sense of, I don't know what your exactly what your funnel is. I assume it's like a challenge group, right? Yeah. So like you have like your content that you're sharing whenever you're sharing it. Do you do your challenge groups once a month?
Or depends. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I have like an open one, and then I'll have directed ones depending on what programs are coming out. So we always have kind of something. So it's almost like, you plan your marketing calendar ahead of time, and you know what's coming up, and that's what you're inviting to.
Perfect. So you guys should have, so when you're in the week leading up to like when you're wanting people to get in there, like start hyping that up, right? And like you can start hyping that up, and that's where you can use like education. Like, so now so once you're crystal clear on that problem you solve and the transformation you help others with, you're gonna hype them. Like, I have big announcement coming at you tomorrow, whatever that is, or soon, or whatever. And then like you start hyping that up, right? You start hyping it up. You can start doing education. And I know you guys have all of this, talking about, what they're going to learn. You're going to talk about symptoms that they're having, and how, like this, you're going to help, overcome. And that's like, that goes into like your, into the week where you're getting people to come join. And, I've found this, okay, I'm going to just offer this as, it kind of depends, and you can test it in. So I see a lot of coaches, health and wellness coaches, they'll have their posts around, come join my group, which is great. You may get engagement, and you may not. But what I have tested in and works really, really well is offering a free, I have like 5 free 15-minute coaching sessions available. And really what that is just getting people, like, you can get into their DMs and you can have a little conversation with them, because once you move it to there, that definitely, you're more likely to close. So, I mean, that's like another call to action you can have. I literally tested it, like when I do launches, like I test that, and that always works. I always get engagement, and I'll get people on the phone. Like, they want the ones that are serious, right? Because at the end of the day, you guys want serious people. So that's like another thing I wanted to share. And again, like, it just to be super short, like, don't make it like a lot, like, don't spend a lot of time there, but don't make it too long. But if you get them on the phone, or like, or if you have a group, like a free group, you can always funnel them in there. And anyway, they're basically, a prospect, and maybe they'll be a client now, but just because someone says no now doesn't mean they're going to say, it's not no forever. Always remember that. You guys know that. All right. So that's really, those are like the main tips I wanted to share when it comes to your post. All right, so let's talk about stories. So fun. Hi. Hey. All right, so do you guys post to, oh wait, let me see. Like a meal plan recipe. Yeah. You can definitely do that. Yes, for sure. All right, so do you guys, are you in stories? Do you get in there? I know, Tara, like, I love your stories. They're my favorite. Are you guys in stories? Yeah? Yeah, sort of? Okay. All right. So you guys can do what you want, but stories are, first of all, I think they're fun. If they're not fun, then I guess don't do them, but I think they're really good, because what they do is it helps your audience see who you are. It helps you build that know, love, and trust factor that, listen, when someone knows you and they love you and they trust you, guess what happens? They're more likely to buy from you. So stories are where it's at. So the first thing I want to share with you when it comes to your content in your stories, okay, and this may be a little pain in the rear, but this is so important. You must put captions in your stories. Like you have to. If you're talking, if you're saying something, you've got, like, and there's an app that I can share with you that you can try. I don't know if it's on iPhone, because I have an Android, but honestly, like there's two things that you're gonna learn here. One, it actually becomes really easy to just translate your words, and the more you do it, the actually more straight to the point you become, because you have to translate it into captions. So so you can practice. So I mean, actually Tara does this. I know she does this approach and I love it. Like, she has the thought of the day. I will do that. I've been a little bit off on my game on that, but I will do a thought of the day, right? It's like just something to talk about. It's something for your audience to, you know, think about and learn about. And it gives them insight into who you are. And that's you providing valuable content. The most successful people on Instagram at the end of the day, like, you guys are content creators. You didn't know this, but you signed up to become content creators. And what that really means is providing valuable content to your audience. So think about whatever's going on in your life. And this is where, you know, that knowing that transformation, the problem you solve helps. But you can literally sprinkle in anything. Honestly, you could talk about anything. Are you guys comfortable like being on video? Most of you? Yeah, it's fun. All right, if you're not, seriously, don't worry. You just practice. Like, you literally just practice. And you can pre-record your stuff like early. I mean, and it doesn't have to be same day. I've recorded stuff like months ago, and I'll post it if I find. I'm like, oh, I found that video. That's a good one. I'm gonna go post that. So like real time, it doesn't have to be a thing. Okay, so make sure you have captions. And then what I found, here's the best tools to use for stories. 1, polls. 2, the slider. 3, I don't know, the question box is like a hit or miss. There's a lot of bots that hit that thing, but you can try them if you want. But the bot, like, it just, I get more, I just feel like I get more out of polls, but that's just me, or the slider. And if anyone engages in your stories, all right, there's a couple of things. All right, now I'm gonna give you extra bonus. So anyone that engages in your stories, go chat with them. Say hi. All you need to do, if you want to see who's looking at your stories, you go to the stories, you scroll up, and you can see everyone that's viewed your stories. Go take a look at them. If they look like they could be an ideal person, you can, they saw your story. So I mean, you could literally go over, engage in their story, or just be like, hey, you know, thanks for watching my story. You get that kind of thing. But like, so now you have like a captive audience, and you can see who's consistently watching, and maybe they're not engaging, so you just can go talk to them. So that's another way to do that. Okay, so I want to talk, so that's that. Then I want to talk about, oh wait, hold on, one more thing I want to talk about in stories. Another thing that you can do, like, you can have the thought of the day, but you can also really talk about tips, right? So, okay, so for example, all right, so Tara, so I'm gonna use that as an example because you're talking about like meal plan or recipe guide. Like, you can have that, you know, for free meal plan, blah, blah, blah. But like, you guys can take educational pieces from that meal plan and like talk about that in your content. Hey, by the way, here's 3 reasons why meal prep is like the thing, like you must meal prep, or how it's going to help you, whatever it is, right? You can just come up with some, you know, marketing copy. And then that could be your content. Look at that. Okay, reels. Okay, so here's my take on reels. Okay, so I am a usability, like, this is like what I do. I do usability. I know, like, okay, so I'm going to tell you what I think about, like, I'll tell you like the why you should do them, but I'll also give you like what I'm seeing. So I'm like a usability person. Like, this is what I do in my like real life. Let me just tell you, to post a reel, a 15-second reel, I swear it gets messed up every time. And I think it's Instagram's, or I think it's just their interface is like not very intuitive. Okay, so just, I'm setting that expectation for you guys. Yes, exactly. Like the first one I did, it was, I don't know what happened. I had to redo it. It was like a whole thing. Okay, but the reason why I am talking about reels is it really gets a lot more reach. I'm not even kidding. It gets a lot more like out there, people that would never see your story, your page and stories. It really gets more eyeballs on your stuff. So if you can sprinkle in a reel here and there, go do it. Okay, so here's my take, and this is my own personal thought on reels, and so I'm going to share it with you. You guys can do whatever you want. Okay. So the pointing to words is kind of weird. Okay, like I feel like it's not fully authentic. Maybe it's authentic for you, is not for me. Like really, I don't know why. It just, everybody's doing it, and I think they just look really weird. Like it's weird. And I'm like all about being authentic and all that. Okay. So if that, but I don't want to offend anybody, but like if that feels authentic to you, then go do it, right? That's fine, right? Because everybody does their thing. But I just think it's weird. I've only dabbled in a couple of reel stories, but like it's literally, most of them are a video of me doing something like working out and leaving tips. So like you kind of just think about something you want to share, like I would make it fun and educational. Those would be like the two things when you're doing it. So you literally, it's all about the like the workout ones. I did one where, so I used to teach Zumba, and so like I just was literally having an afternoon dance party, and I'm like, I'm literally gonna post this, and that thing got like crazy reach. So it's like I was literally just, you know, dancing, and I started, like that one took me forever because I had to like match like the music to it took forever. All right, but it's about honestly, it's like about the music really, and like making people feel good, right? So you can just share some tips, do a little video, 15 seconds, put a little clip. You can have like a short caption. You can put hashtags in there, but you can't really, it's hard to engage with them. Like it just basically, the algorithm will just put your stuff out there, honestly. And if your current audience engages with it, it'll get a lot more reach. So I hope that's my take on reels, but it will help you get a lot more visibility. So leverage it when you can. I mean, there's also IGTV. I mean, listen, there's a lot of stuff on there. Here's my advice when it comes to visibility, standing out as the authority. Like, honestly, guys, don't bite off more than you can chew. Whatever you can do consistently, do. Like, you don't have to do all the things. So, for example, if you're like, look, I know I should be posting every single day, but all I can do is 3 days a week, then do 3 days a week. Commit to the 3 days a week and do it. If you know, and you can show up in your stories every day. So just be consistent, whatever it is. Honestly, if you're like, I can show up 1 day a week in my feed, then do that and post your stories. But I mean, honestly, the more your people see you, the better. You know, that's sort of how that works. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anything. And I'm gonna have like a couple of journal questions for you guys because I love journal questions. Hold on 1 second. All right, so yes. Oh wait, so like I just want to show one thing. So really, what we talked about, just a little recap. So your content, right? So you have your content, and that your content is your visuals and your captions. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, wherever you see it, right? You have your visuals, you have your video, you have your images, you have all that. And then you have your captions, what you're saying, what the captions in your feed, all of that stuff, right? And your goal for all of that is to really inspire action. Like at the end of the day, your goal is to inspire action through your content. And that action may be somebody leaving an emoji. That action may be someone sharing something with you, like, thank you for this, I'm struggling with this thing. The action when it's time to sell is, you know, sales, right? So there's multiple actions, right? But it's to inspire that action that you want them to take. And you must get crystal clear on that problem you solve, right? This is literally, that's the overarching theme for all of your content. And once you know that problem that you solve and the transformation that you help others with, that's when your content and everything else is going to be super easy for you. You're not gonna be like, what do I talk about today? Because you already know, right? You already have that overarching piece. And the question I have is, like, once you guys get crystal clear on that transformation and the problem you solve, like, do they know what their actual problem is, right? Do they know it? And this is where education comes in, right? So you want to educate your audience on the problem along with the what and the why, and talk about their symptoms. You're the solution, like you're the solution to their problem. But they need to hear about like the, those symptoms, right? Because they're struggling with something. And at the end of the day, the reason why they don't move forward necessarily, like when you're talking to them, there's a little tip, is they're afraid. They're afraid they're not gonna reach their goals. And so it's up to you to show them that they can do it. What's possible. You're showing them what's possible through your content. All right. So then like the third piece we talked about was just really you getting visible. Like you got to get whatever it is, be consistent, but get visible. And you're getting visible within your area of expertise, and that's how you stand out, and you become that leader, right? You got to be really confident. If you're not confident in your content, if you're not confident in what you do, your audience is going to feel it. It's an energy. It's like an invisible energy, and they're going to know. So that's why I talked about like really stepping into your power. So I have a couple of journal questions for you guys, if you don't mind me sharing them, because I just think they're fun. Okay. And they'll just help you think about things. So the first question that I have, so write this down. What is the impact that you really want to make? What is that impact that you want to have? And the other question is, what do you want to inspire your audience to see, and what do you want to inspire them to do? So this will actually help you get, a little bit more clarity around that problem and the transformation, right? Because that's like a little bit on a deeper level. And I think it's really important to know, because the more passionate you are, like the more things feel easy and aligned. Okay, so I have a couple more journal questions. I just wrote them down over here, so I'm gonna just look to make sure. Okay, so you guys will write down, what can you talk about all day? What is something that you can literally just talk about all day long? Become very aware of what that is. And it could be multiple things, but it's really good to bring that to the surface. And I want you to also think about, what have you overcome? What have you overcome in your life? What are the things you struggled with? And spend some time on this, because there's going to be multiple things, right, that come up, and this is going to help. And then once those surface for you, I actually want you to think about how that helps with your business. Helps with your business, how you help that transformation within your business. And so I know you guys have two pieces, right? You have another piece where you are leaders, and you have entrepreneurs that you want to join your team. And here's where it goes. When you get really serious about it, you're gonna make this decision. Like, you've come really far. And so for you guys that are just starting out, I want you to write this down, because you're gonna be like, oh, okay, because I was told this and I'm like, I didn't understand. Okay. This is who you want. You want people that are really serious, because you're investing time and energy, right? You don't want to have to convince anyone of anything. So I want you to think about, so back to that thing, not everyone is your person, and it's your business. So think about it. If you are hiring somebody, because that's not in a way that's think about it that way. Like, you are hiring someone, how do you want them to be? What are the specific, what are some specifics, right? Think about that. And I want you to go back to yourself. Actually look at yourself. What's important to you? Why did you start your business? What drives you? Because those things are going to, those are traits that you probably want within your entrepreneurs that are joining your business. You guys know this isn't easy. It's not easy, but it is so rewarding, and you're building your freedom, right? You're creating freedom for yourself. And so anyway, so that's just another, those are all the journal questions I have. Those are a lot of questions, but hopefully that's helpful. And by the way, you guys, I know you guys get on here, you get on here often, you should be posting about this. one of the things that people are drawn into is a sense of community and being part of something bigger than themselves. So make sure you guys are kind of sharing when you're, you know, doing your meetings, or, you know, hey, I'm like learning something new, like all that stuff. Like you want to do that because that's just content, and people are like, wait, what's going on there? I think I might want to get in on that. Okay, so that was a lot of talking, but I'm getting really excited and passionate. So I hope that that was enough. Like, I hope that was at least enough for you guys to kind of go on. And if you guys are really, really feeling serious about really stepping up your, you know, your social game, you are really, really serious about your business, and you feel like you need some help, I do have a couple things that I'm happy to, you know, offer you guys. So one of the things is I'm actually gonna, I'll probably leave, should I leave the link in here? If you guys want to, yeah, I'll leave the link in here. So one thing, I actually have a free Facebook group, so love to have you guys come over, hang out, join. I go live once a week. And I'm always open to like whatever you need. Like I'll share about, and I keep it pretty short. Like it's like maybe 15 minutes. I'm respectful of everybody's time, and I like to get right to the point. So if you guys, actually, let me get you the link. If you guys want to come over and join, would love to have you. So that's one way. Wait, where's Zoom? Okay, here we go. All right, so there's that. And okay, yeah, so I can do that. Wait, where else do you want me to put it? And
Oh, I have it. I can put it in our team chat.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's the one that I'm in, right, Heather? Or is this a different one?
No, that's the one you're in. Yes.
Okay. Because I can drop it in our chat.
You're in that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually also, I actually have a 4-week, well, masterclass, but it's like, you know, 4 weeks long. And it's really, you guys we would get crystal clear on that transformation, that, you know, the problem you solve, the transformation that you help others with, and really just setting that foundation so you can really go out there and start sharing your story, not only your story, but also really stepping up as that leader that you are. And so it's a 4-week class. I actually do it live. So you do get some, you know, one-on-one time in a sense, because, you know, it's through Zoom, we talk. And it's 4 weeks, and the investment is $249. So if you guys want to chat a little bit more about that, if you feel like that would help you on your journey, I would love to hop on and see if it's a good fit for you. I'm gonna actually, so I typically just do, you know, a coaching call, like 10-15 minutes, because I want to get to know you, and just sort of see where you're at, where you're struggling, and if it's a good fit. And so I'm going to also drop you guys the link. I have some, did I copy this? Oh, yeah, here it is. I have some availability over the next couple, you know, this couple, do I have this week? I think I have a day this week and a couple, you know, some time slots next week. So if you guys are interested, would love to chat with you, just learn a little bit more. But there's a link there. So if you want to connect, that'd be amazing. Yeah, so that is pretty much, I think that's everything I wanted to share with you guys tonight. I hope you found it helpful. I'm gonna open up for questions. What questions do you guys have?
Yeah, Heather, that was super helpful. And I think I really loved one that you said, do what feels comfortable to you. Like, you know, if you can't show up in your feed every day, if you're showing up in your stories, but whatever you choose to do, do it consistently. That I think that's important for my team to hear, because we are all so crazy busy. Like, I have a team of people who are employed full-time, because that's what I seek out. Like, I seek out because I work full-time, right? So I think that was really, really important. So you talked a lot about kind of, I'm just going to pick your brain a little bit. Sometimes if you ask a question, then other people will follow. How do you feel about filtering and like stock images and like posing and that kind of stuff? Because I've tried different things, and I know I loved that you said, what do you stop at? Like, what makes you stop? Because I've never ever thought about that. Like, I've never thought about what makes me stop my scroll. I should share more of that, because those are clearly my people. Like, that was an aha moment that you said, because I'm like, I've never done that before. But How do you feel about using those filters and using those, going out and taking a bunch of photos and then just having them all ahead of like, or are you more of a, I'm just going to post as I feel?
Okay, so okay, it's a good question. So it kind of depends. It depends on the mood. However, I can tell you this, like especially, everyone's juggling a lot, right? So if you were to take, I'll give you guys a tip. So okay, so when it comes to filters, I'll just share with you guys my take on filters. You can decide. Some people I know, like I can tell it's their brand because they have like the right filter. I've downloaded a ton of filters. I just can never, like they never look right. Like my face will look all weird, like the colors were off. But if you find one that works for you and it's easy, because this is at the end of the day, it needs to be easy. If you're spending hours editing your photos, the return on your time could be well spent somewhere else. Okay. But if you guys go to if you see my Instagram, like you'll see I have like a brand, I have templates, I have a design, I actually have a designer, so she created them for me and I literally just plop my pictures in there and it's got a little like purple filter over it. So that's as far as my filtering goes. So to answer your question about filters, and it's real, if you can make it work for you and you love it and it's easy, do it. If you can't, don't worry about it. Here is a really good tip. So I've shared this in my group, so like this. Okay, so you can easily, like, and I mean easily, get a ton of photos by yourself. This is what you need to do. You figure out like what you think you're gonna post about. Like, just kind of figure it out. What kind of expressions or what will you need? Like, you want to be like, I'm excited, whatever. This, you can have your back, like whatever it is. Set up your phone. Get yourself ready, whatever, however you want to be. Set up your phone, put it on video, do a bunch of different poses, hold them for a few seconds, press play, screenshot, then you just screenshot those images and voila, in literally like, seriously, I'm not even joking, you could do this in 15 minutes and you can have a ton of photos done. Doesn't matter if you're wearing the same thing. Like I had like a photo shoot done like over a year ago and I still use the images. Like I use them all the time. So it's okay. And it's okay to reuse images in your feed from like people, you have new followers, people forget. Oh, and then once you guys, once you have a lot of content, you can take that same content and reuse it. People don't remember. You just switch the image. They won't remember. Okay, so wait, what was the other? Was that everything? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes, so stories, I will, if I'm in launch mode, I'll do it ahead. Stuff will be recorded ahead of time. But for the most part, stories I just do on the fly. But I do plan out, and I recommend, like my clients do too, like everybody plans out their content ahead of time, because then it's like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write my like 3 posts for the week in 20 minutes. I'm gonna get my images together and I'm done with it. And then like, you don't even have to think about it. You just post. It's actually, you just set your mindset that you're gonna do it. I don't know, and everyone's different with their creativity, so, but that helps. All right.
Yeah, planning for sure is massive. I have another question. I ask all the questions and then I'll let other people ask questions. When you see people in your stories, so for the majority, for me, it's all the same people. So when I see somebody new, I'm like, I pounce. But like, so how when you see them the first time in your stories, do you engage right away? Like from your, should you jump into their DMs right away and say, hey, just wanted to say, hey, see you in my stories? Or do you wait a few times to see if they continue to watch you? Or like, do you wait and see if they've just looked at your first story and then gone away? Or you know what I mean?
So yeah, if it's someone who is like new and they've gone through all of my stories and they look like they could be a potential client or a prospect or whatever, I'll actually typically go, unless they engaged with like something, I'll go over to their page and I'll like their latest post and leave them a comment. Maybe I'll like engage in their DMs, and then like it'll kind of start that way. I mean, even if they went through one time as someone new, like, I don't think it can hurt. You're just going back and like, you know, just showing them love to, you know, they look at your stuff. So you're kind of looking at that, at theirs. So hopefully that helps. But if they engage like in a poll or something, like I definitely will go into their DMs.
Oh yeah, I'm all over that. If they usually it's an accident, but I just try and make it funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, it can't hurt. Like, at the end of the day, like, they don't respond, right? Like, at least you know, you tried. I wouldn't be, as long as you're all coming from a good place and it's authentic, then it's good. What other questions you guys have?
Ask all the questions, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are like, this is so much information right now. I
know.
feel like they're like on information overload.
If you think of, honestly, if there's anything that I talked about tonight and you're like, you know, just something comes up afterwards, like, you guys can go ahead, feel free. You can, if you join my Facebook group, you can message me in there, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. You're welcome to. Like, if you're like, hey, I'm in whatever, I'm in stories, or whatever the case may be.
Sorry, I have one more question. I wrote down all my questions as I go along. I think it's the lawyer in me. I'm just like, write it all down. When you are doing either in your stories or in your feed, I think the tendency is, and I did it when I first started coaching, I think the tendency is to want to share like all the products and all the like program names and all the, is that something that you would advise against, or would you suggest that people do?
So I think that's a really good question. I actually don't think there's anything wrong with sharing. Okay, there's a way to go about doing it. So, like, for example, okay, one of my favorite workouts. I'm a gym I am a gym person. Like, I love the gym, but I love PiYo. Like, I just love that workout. Like, I don't know, it's just different and really cool and really fun. So, like, a really, you know, like, authentic way to do. Okay, yeah, actually, an authentic way to do that is just, you can literally just be like, oh my gosh, I had like the best workout. You can video yourself and you just write in there, like, just did PiYo. Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried PiYo? It's like that. It's like that. You know what I mean? Or, you know, whatever one they have out there that you're like dying, because they're all really hard. So, I mean, you know, like, you guys can do it. Sorry, it's true. I'm trying to think of like some of the other ones. I was like, this is out of control. Like, I don't know. There's probably new ones. It's been a while since I saw, but they're all honestly, like, I actually think the training programs are really, really good. And I forgot, like, they're all really good. No, I would, so like, Tara, I'll just use your example because I know that you're doing workouts. Like, I don't think you post about what they are, right? Yeah, I would. Hey, like, I mean, you can literally put on there a poll, like, you're showing yourself working out, and just be like, you know, have you done, and then, like, have you done whatever workout it is? Yes, no. Or, yes, I want to try. Tell me more. Yes, tell me more. Don't give them a no. Give them like something.
Yeah, I never give them no. It's always yes, or like the raised hands. Like, I never give them the option to say no.
Yeah, or like,
so are you saying like use the program name? So for example, if I was doing Shaun T's Insanity, hey, have you ever tried Insanity?
oh, there's so many good results on Insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's what you do. Like, I honestly tested in. But I honestly don't see anything wrong with it. I think some people get a little bit crazy if you're like trying to push like the shake stuff on them.
Yeah.
Like, people really I don't know. People are weird about network marketing. I hate that because I actually think it's like an amazing business. Like, where else can you like start your own business for a really minimal investment? Like, I mean, it's pretty awesome. But like, what do you guys, because you need to sell it's like what is it called,
Yeah, so we've got Shakeology, and we have like, so I do it where I'm just showing me making my pre-workout in the morning, and I just call it my hustle juice. Like, I never call it the name of the product, just because I find that for me, people are very judgy if you're talking about product names. They immediately have a preconceived notion about what it is. So I will rarely say Shakeology. I will rarely say Energize. I will rarely say, like, it's always my superfood shake or my hustle juice or my whatever. But yeah, I mean,
so I think that's fine, and that's authentic for you, and I think that's fine. Like, I agree with you. I think people kind of get like, oh, I'm not going to do that, it's too expensive, blah blah blah, like for the nutritional products. But I don't feel this, I don't know that it's necessarily the same for a workout. Like, who doesn't? I feel like that's this is just my opinion. But it's what you do. Like, I go to the gym and I lift, like I'm not hiding that. Or, you know, if I go somewhere else, like CrossFit or whatever, like I'm not going to hide what it is. So I don't necessarily think that you have to. And then, yeah, when it comes to, by the way, like, I like that your guys' performance line's like really, really good, by the way. Yeah, I think I have, like, I love the sorry, I was trying to think of what ones I love. Like, I love that the chocolate protein. It's really good. Okay. So, yeah, that, I like how you do like hustle juice and like all that stuff, but like, do you poll them like about, I don't know, if they want to know what it is?
Sometimes I do. Like, I'll say, do you have a favorite pre-workout, or do you,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I'll say,
Energy boost.
could you use this? Or like, if I'm talking about how I need it in the morning because
Yeah.
I had no sleep last night and this is literally going to kick my butt in gear. I might say something like, could you use something like this? Or,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Just to kind of engage them in that. But
Yeah, I think that's good. And then, I mean, really at the end of the day, it's like when what you really want to do is strike up that the conversation with people, and then really talk about that transformation and all that stuff. And by the way, like, this is how you're going to do it. And it's literally the most minimal investment ever. So, I mean, it is a minimal investment. You guys need to get also, like, this isn't, you guys probably talk about this, but like, you should feel really comfortable in what that investment is, like when you're pitching it. Like, you have to, like, this is where like energy comes in, and I don't know if you guys talk about this, but I'm really serious. Like, if you're not feeling comfortable with like what you're talking about, like, really work on that, really, really work on that, because you're like, it will it's reflected back to you. And anyone that like gives you objections and things like that, like, you just need to dive into like what's really stopping them. They'll just say they can't afford it, but that's never the real answer for the most part, like 99% of the time. They haven't, you need to look at it like, all right, what angle have I not taken, and like, how can I steer this conversation where like I'm showing them that I believe in them and this is how they do it. All right. But yeah, in terms of like those, yeah, I like that if you just kind of surface the products, like, I mean, you can even do like you making, oh yeah, like, you guys have a ton of like recipes, like a ton of shake recipes. Oh man, I think I have a bunch listed. Anyway, you guys have a ton of shake recipes. I don't see that. I think you could totally share. You know, I actually help, so a lot of my clients are actually in Arbonne, and they'll talk about the products. Like, they definitely do. And there's not necessarily like negative connotations around it. You just need to test it in, honestly. But I mean, you can totally do like shake recipes, stuff like that. Okay. You're welcome. But yeah, don't do but like, I highly, highly advise against doing like stock photos and stuff. Like, that's like that should never be a thing.
so yeah, for anybody who, like, for stock photos, it would be like going to the website and using one of the pictures that Beachbody has posted of peppermint mocha Shakeology with their picture, and then using that, right? Like, if you're gonna, or one of the recipe pictures, use a picture of a recipe that you've made as opposed to like the stock photo that Beachbody has created, for example.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, there can be a time and place to sprinkle it in, maybe if it feels like it fits with your personal brand. But like, if it, I don't know, the more authentic you are, like, people are just I can't stress that enough.
I've done Instagram versus reality because mine never look like the pictures that they have in their recipe books ever.
Never.
Yeah. And then I share the recipe just for like,
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm very mindful of everyone's time.
Yeah, it's like,
if not, you can always so follow. It's just at Heather Alice Marie on Instagram, so you can follow her. It's actually the same on Facebook, and I'll drop her free group in our chat as well, so that you have that and you can connect with her if you have any questions.
I need to capture everybody's Instagram. How do I do that? Or you guys dropped them in here, but I'm not gonna be able to get all of them right now.
Yeah, they're in there. Do you want me to, if you guys are okay with that, I can send them all to Heather. Okay.
I'll make sure that I'm following you guys. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'll send them all to you, Heather. So that
Okay,
you have them.
thanks. Thank you guys so much for your time. And like I said, if you think of any questions, please, like honestly, please reach out. Anything at all, let me know.
Thank you so much, Heather, for
Thank you.
imparting all of your knowledge.
Oh, you might want to, I don't know if you want to end
That's
the
super
recording, but
helpful.
take a little photo.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm going to take a picture because I always forget. And Kiara probably had kid issues. Her son was not very happy when she got home from work today. So that's probably what happened. Okay, we ready?
Ready?
Here you go.
Okay, good. Yeah, and actually I need, yeah, if I can get everybody's, your handle, then I can, I'll tag you guys.
Yeah, I will send them. I'm just gonna
And my audience gets to see you guys. Yay.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, thank you again so much for that. It's super helpful. Guys, don't try to apply everything that Heather said today. Take one or two things and start with that, and then kind of just do those things, get a handle on those things, and then actually if you try and do everything all at once, it's going to be overwhelming. So debrief, pick one or two things that this is what I'm going to work on this week and next week, and then kind of filter some things in as you go along. Okay, perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.